Hello, people of YouTube. I haven't done a video for a while. I've done a few live streams recently, but not a video, so I thought I'd better do one. I've bought a RX480. It's just a reference one, as you can see, but it has this Arctic Accelero Mono Plus cooler on it, which is just a single fan, and as you can see, it's a kind of tall cooler with a very large fan. And you can kind of see how much higher it is than the PCB of the card there. It's got little heat sinks for the VRMs on the back as well. I'm just running it on a Asrock Z170 Pro 4 with a Core i3 that's got a bit of a base clock overclock on it. I'll just show you the screen. So I'm actually going to be using this card for mining, but I'm going to put a Pentium G440 in it instead and run that at maybe 3.8 or 4 gigahertz. And yeah, I just wanted to test it out, test what the temps were like with this cooler, and also see how well it overclocked and stuff in Firestrike. But it's mainly just seeing how good the cooler is and how well the card performs in terms of power draw and such. So it has got a 120 fan pointing at it there as well, which will help with the temps. But we'll just do a run at stock first. So this is everything at stock in Sapphire Tricks with the fan on automatic. I'm going to press apply here, so that you know the only thing I've done is set the power limit to plus 50% so it doesn't power throttle. And I've also got GPU Z open here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run Firestrike, and then we'll come back at the end and look how much power it's drawn and what kind of score it's got, although it's not going to be very good with an i3. But yeah. So it's literally just finished Firestrike, and you'll see here on the power draw, it peaked at 172 watts. It managed to keep its max boost clock of 1266 all of the time. Max temperature was only 49 degrees. The fan speed reached, it says 100%, but it was actually at about 50-ish% by the looks of it. And I think that is actually inaccurate. The actual fan speed is only about 1100, just under 1200 RPM. So yeah, and you can see it reached 172 watts for the GPU core only, and this is at stock. And it stayed mostly around 1 volt, maybe 1.05 volts max. And the score it got was 10,000. But obviously the physics score is really low because I'm using an i3, so 14,000 on the graphics. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to manually control the fan here, and I'm going to put it down to 17%, which is about 700 RPM, as you can see there. So I'm going to apply that, and I'll also take this fan away here. I'm just going to unplug it so that this doesn't affect the temperatures. I'll just stick it there for now. So that fan's only doing 700 RPM. And now we're going to run it again. Now bear in mind that a reference RX480 with the reference cooler on it will probably run around 75 to 85 degrees, depending on what kind of temperature and settings you're happy for it to run at. And yeah, this cooler is not really that big. It is very wide, as you can see. It's actually nearly as tall as my Thermalright Silver Arrow. But I mean, if you have a reference card and you want to get some better temperatures, this cooler is probably quite a good one to go for. I don't know how much it is, because mine actually came with this cooler already on, which is why it was pretty cheap, because apparently no one wants it. They all want awful blower coolers that are really loud and hot. So yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone who has an RX480 that they want to run cooler. I mean, it even runs cooler than my XFX GTR, which I've got down there. That reaches about 56 degrees Celsius under the same conditions, so just like fire strike a bench or so. But you can see how fat, well, you might not be able to on the camera, but the fan is actually moving really, really slowly. You can see it's getting sort of decent FPS as well, which is nice. It's on GT2 at the moment. I've just used a 120 and a 140 fan, just kind of threw them on there. So I just wanted to test this card quickly before I set it up mining. But it should be a really good card for mining, because it's quiet, it doesn't pull loads of watts like a 290 or a 290X would, and the hash rate is supposed to be pretty good on it. So I've never actually done any mining before, but we'll soon find out how we do in the mining business. It's just running the last test, the combined test. I've managed to lose. I actually went to a meet in Liverpool with some liquid nitrogen the other weekend, and I managed to lose all my little pegs for my test bench, so I've just put a box on top of the test bench so that the board isn't sitting on the bare metal. So I'll have to get some new ones of those at some point. And yeah, that is just a Ryzen CPU sitting there chilling. The Ryzen board is actually working at the moment, so I'll probably be doing some more videos on that at some point. So here we go, it has finished Fire Strike again, around 14,000. Not amazing, but look at that temperature, 53 degrees Celsius, and the fan is literally at like 700 RPM. Like if I hover over here, you can see it's floating around 700 RPM, max temp 53C. So really, really, really good cooler is this. So yeah, that is about it really. The card doesn't actually overclock very well, because it power throttles massively when you try and put any kind of voltage to it. The power limit on the core is 210 watts, and it does stick to it very precisely. So unfortunately I can't even get 1400 megahertz out of it on the core. So I'm not going to bother doing any overclocking in this video. It was just a quick video showing you this cooler on a reference RX480 and kind of what it was capable of. I might show you some temperatures once I get in mining as well, because obviously that will put a lot more load on it. But that is possibly it for this video. There may be a bit after this. Obviously if you're nearly at the end of the video, then there isn't any more. Goodbye. So just a quick end to this video. I have got the mining card set up just here next to my test bench, using a 1300 watt 80 plus gold super flower power supply. Bit overkill, but doesn't really matter. There it is, the RX480. It's currently running at 1266-ish on the core, flickers around a little bit, and 2195 on the memory, because apparently that is the best thing to do, is overclock the memory and leave the core as it is. So yeah, that's about it really. I've just stuck the fan on a custom fan profile, so it's running about 50 degrees, about 50% fan speed, or the fan scales basically up in 1% from sort of 0 to 100 degrees Celsius. It'll never reach that though, so yeah, it's fine. It's mining away there. So yeah, that's it for this video. See you in the next one.